Sometimes you have travels funded by outside agencies, travels funded even locally. Give them to do to get that exposure, to get that training. And sometimes we even send them to meetings, board meetings, and when they come, we take away the allowances. These things are not right. It's not right. You know, at least we try to motivate them. We have a huge workforce. And to our credit as a government, we even have people from the private sector trying to come into government. But we must open the doors for them and encourage them. You know, there's no doubt that we are all human beings. We all have our emotions. You will prefer some of your staff to the others. But if you can give 3 travels to one of your staff because he or she is your favorite, for God's sake, the efficient one who is even performing better than him or her, give him once a year. You know, these things are very important. It's not even just the money that goes with it, but the exposure, the moral booster.
The 3-day forum will be characterized by presentations of randomly selected sectors, followed by plenary discussions, where participants will provide progress reports on key activities in their various institutions. The senior government functionaries, including Director Generals and Managing Directors, are also expected to reflect on key achievements and constraints experienced during the year under review. Conclusions and recommendations drawn from this experts meeting shall be forwarded to Cabinet for approval at the end of the Synergy. Mama J, Grts.
The Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Omar Sy, has taken delivery of a state-of-the-art mobile microbiological laboratory courtesy of West Africa Health Organization, WAHO. The Labomobile is designed to improve rapid diagnosis of epidemics in remote areas. Minister Sy also presided over the opening ceremony of a 3-day forum on tobacco cessation in the Gambia. We have more in this report. Biological laboratory, in short, Labomobile, as the name implies, is a mobile laboratory specifically designed to reach remote areas. It performs immediate on-site microbiological diagnosis, and data is communicated in real time to health authorities and useful in disease epidemic potentials such as cholera, meningitis, and other infectious diseases like tuberculosis, malaria, HIV and AIDS, influenza, and others. For its numerous benefits, the Minister of Health and Social Welfare expressed gratitude upon receiving the Labomobile, citing it could not come at a better time, a time the Gambia is on a vigorous meningitis campaign. The Labomobile is convenient and provides easier access to populations without making them travel long distances, and perhaps its greatest advantage is timely confirmation of outbreaks, enabling quick and appropriate response, thus reducing fatality and economic impacts. The handover also saw a launch of a video conferencing service for easy communication to other facilities and also a signing of an MOU.
First of all, first of these reasons is to sign the MOU between the Minister of Health and WAHO regarding to the establishment and operationalization of the stock of security of ARVs for ECOWAS member states.
In a separate engagement, Minister Omar Sy presided over the opening ceremony of a 3-day workshop on tuberculosis cessation in the Gambia. Cigarette contains a deadly mix of more than 7,000 chemicals, hundreds are toxic, and about 70 can cause cancer. Cigarette smoke, according to experts, can cause serious health problems, numerous diseases, and even in severe cases, death.
Much progress has been made globally to fight tobacco epidemic in the world. For the first time since the coming into force of the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, an estimated 2.3 billion people have been covered by at least one tobacco control measure. But much more needs to be done in several areas to curb the growing global tobacco epidemic.
Cessation can significantly reduce the risks of suffering from smoke-related diseases. Tuberculosis dependence is a chronic condition that often requires repeated intervention, but effective treatments and helpful resources exist, and smokers can and do quit.
We have to understand that tobacco itself, as an addiction, it has both the cognitive aspect, the chemical or the physical aspect, and also the behavioral aspect. Thereby we for the participants today, we'll actually train them so that they understand that the people who are using tobacco, it's not like they're trying not to stop. It is a problem, and there are ways that you can actually help them manage this kind of problem.
Interacting with smokers will tell you that most of them actually do know the health impact of smoking, but find it very hard to quit. Why is that?
Because, let's look at the chemical aspect. The brain gets tuned. Then the neurotransmitters in the brain, they become tuned to accepting the nicotine. Thereby, when you don't smoke, you actually have withdrawals. So you'll find some people, they will nosebleed, others they have headaches, others nausea. So you feel very bad that when you take your next puff of the tobacco, or you just take your, if it is a paste, you feel that you feel better. So for these people, it is easier for them to keep on using their tobacco compared to not using the tobacco.
As for participants, they are looking forward to many things, paramount among them.
I'm expecting that all the participants will gain enough knowledge and skills about tobacco cessation. And I'm also expecting when we go back to at least help the communities, those who are not here, to know the dangers of tobacco use and also to help people cease tobacco.
Tobacco use remains the leading cause of preventable death in the world. Reducing tobacco use is a winnable battle with known effective strategies for success, one which can be cessation with support methods generally tuned to address both nicotine addiction and nicotine withdrawal symptoms. Yes, it can be done. For GRTS News, I am Deku Mademba. 6 men are in custody after being arrested by operatives of the National Drug Enforcement Agency at different locations for being in possession of suspected cannabis, cocaine and heroin. Ominjai tells us more.
Accused persons are the latest in the NDEA net after being arrested with suspected cannabis, heroin and cocaine. These 2 accused persons were arrested by personnel of the National Drug Enforcement Agency stationed at the Sibanor on the 5th of December 2013 at a place called Fas in Fonyi Bondali, West Coast region with 17 big bundles of cannabis. According to NDEA officials, the 2 accused were found on a motorbike transporting the cannabis. These other accused persons were also arrested by some undercover NDEA operatives along the Banjul Beach in separate operations. These men were arrested with 54 wraps of suspected heroin at Latirkunda Sabiji. All these accused persons arrested by NDEA personnel from different locations are charged with drug trafficking, contrary to Section 43 of the Drug Control Act.
There are more than 3 to 5 accused persons who were arrested with drugs, and they were arrested at different locations. You can see 3 Nigerians were arrested who conspired themselves to deal in suspected cocaine.
The crackdown on drugs remains a serious task as the government continues to maintain zero tolerance on drug trafficking. To this effect, NDEA officials emphasize that ignorance of the law will not be an excuse. The PRO of the NDEA, who also doubles as the OC prosecutions, outlined that his office together with other security agencies are always on the move to see that the country is rid of drug trafficking. He also enjoined the general public, particularly the youth, to stay away from drugs.
I will advise the public to stay away from drugs because the government has done all it can to make sure the Gambia is a drug-free state. NDA will continue to maintain their stance in the fight against drug. This is a peaceful country. We will not allow anybody to jeopardize with the peace and security of this country. So we advise the general public. My office, that is the Office of the Public Relations Office, is continuing, and we are visiting schools, community, in the sensitization of drugs. So we definitely thank the general public for their cooperation, because definitely there are some genuine Gambians who are helping in the fight against drugs.
Meanwhile, the accused persons will remain under custody whilst they await trial. Uminjai, GRTS.
13 students recently graduated with master's, bachelor's and postgraduate diploma degrees from the University of the Gambia. The group completed studies on a range of disciplines courtesy of the Amity University in India through the Pan-African E-Network project. Buba SMCC reports.
Began with the observance of a minute silence in honor of the late Nelson Mandela of South Africa. This is the second batch of Gambians numbering 13 who bagged master's, bachelor's and postgraduate diplomas in French,